Welcome back, everybody, to the Roads We've Traveled podcast. My name is AJ Pelletier. Thank you again for tuning in and subscribing. I appreciate it. Things are going okay. I mean, this past week I've been sick all week. I've been dealing with a sinus infection and bronchitis. It's that time of the year for me, unfortunately. So this happens to me all the time. So thankfully less than it used to years ago. But anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about today's episode. Today is our second roundtable session with returning guests, Josh Moore and Doug Lenington from Fear the Masses, and Chris Millet, formerly of Fear the Masses. We were planning this for a little while, and I'm glad we got a chance to do this. I love catching up with these guys, a bunch of funny, great, talented people, who have been very good friends of mine over the years. Throughout the music scene and beyond. We've been talking about working on a whole bunch of other stuff together, not music related. We're talking about a lot in this episode about D&D. And then we focused a lot about mental health in this episode. The four of us really opened up and dug deep about mental health in men, and how we've all been doing and dealing and etc. So this was a very good episode. I'm glad that I had all these guys on today. You guys should definitely check it out. Be sure to subscribe, tell a friend, share it. It would mean a lot to me. So let's just get right into it. Here is episode 36 of the Roads We've Traveled podcast, roundtable session number 2 with Joshua Moore, Doug Lenington, and Chris Millet. Check it out. Welcome to the Roads We've Traveled podcast, episode 36. My name is AJ Pelletier. Thank you again for tuning in, subscribing, and all that great stuff. I love you for it. We got another roundtable session today with returning guests and current and former members of Fear the Masses. We got Mr. Doug Lenington. Hello, Doug.
Bonjour.
We got Josh Moore. What's up, buddy?
Yep.
And we have Mr. Chris Millet. What's up, man?
Hello.
How's everyone doing today?
As good as can be. I'm here with these assholes, but that's a whole different story.
Not only do I have to deal with the Moderna side effects, but I got to deal with you.
And here we go.
Listeners, be prepared. That's all I'm saying. Just be prepared. This is, you think you know roundtables, and then you have this going on. All right.
Oh shit, my pizza's beeping.
Doug is gone. Doug is gone.
Doug is gone.
That's the fattest thing that anybody's ever done on a podcast. Without question, the fattest move.
Fucking priorities, though, right? Priorities.
No, didn't say anything before we started recording. Nothing. Just like,
That's so
amazing.
fat. It's just
Also, you know what? Just par for the course between the four of us. It's literally this would happen. It would be. If all of a sudden Josh doorbell, we're going, oh shit, my food's here. Just runs down.
all right. Well, pizza. Like what?
I don't think any of us would turn that down. It's just like, I gotta go.
So funny.
I was trying to make time before recording to possibly snack on something because I was editing a video for the podcast. And I got to edit it already. As I was like, nope, I'm not going to have time. So let's just get started.
No, I was like, I'm totally making a pizza. I was like, I know it's going to be an AJ's podcast, but I don't care. I'm making a pizza. I'm hungry.
Oh, man. This feels like, just as a side note, this feels like just on a, when we used to do the radio spots, when it was like when we went to Boston and then there was like 3 other radio shows the 3 of us would go on and Mike would come in, because they would come in and be like, oh yeah, we need to prep these guys for radio, and then it would just be us being like, wow, yeah, no, we're just bullshitting the whole time. You're not going to get anything out of us at this point.
We're not.
Yeah.
It's like, just let Josh talk and keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you get the 3 of us going, it'll never go anywhere. Like, it's just...
speaking of Mike, I've been doing a D&D campaign with him and some of his friends. We were supposed to do one a few weeks ago, but he wasn't feeling too hot, so we didn't end up doing it. But
What are you guys doing with the D&D stuff? Because I saw a couple posts. What are you guys actually doing? Because the last D&D, I'm not a big D&D person, but I remember the last one we did was we did the Star Wars one at Mike's apartment. So I'm curious as to what you're doing right now with Mike.
Do that.
The one that we're currently doing, it's my first campaign. I've never played in my life before, so this is like my first time. And we're doing this just generic campaign. I'm a ranger, and I
Are you a Power Ranger?
Oh, God, I wish.
Just for the spandex, though. The only real reason he wants it is the spandex.
Yeah, and also Ed just wants to scream it's morphing time, and then all Mike wants to do is Ranger.
I just want a giant dragon sword outside my apartment just to squash my neighbor's house, so I don't have to fucking hear his loud ass cars anymore. Break out the flute.
I forgot about the flute.
The flute
Oh my
is
God,
so random.
the fucking flute. Look, you have all this epic action, and the Green Raiders supposed to be this badass, and then he pulls out a fucking flute and just starts
Which I
going.
never understood those dynamics. Like, how the hell is he blowing in a flute through a helmet? Like,
Yeah,
Number one.
much. There's so
Number
much
one.
wrong with that
Number
show.
two, it's a dagger. I'm like, well, that shit's hollow. That's gonna break. All right, that's just hollow, right?
This is not how knives work.
Yeah,
Like, at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
then he comes back as the White Ranger, and his Saba, his sword, talks to him. Like,
It was so
like,
cool. Jason was the best character.
That's what's so fucked up is like we remember it the whole time. We're like, yeah, yo, Jason's such a badass.
It doesn't
And then it's
hold
like,
up though.
it does
It
not
really
hold up
doesn't.
at all.
It
It's
really
like you're looking
doesn't. No, it
back on
doesn't.
it like this is really stupid.
And he's still Jason David Frank's still powering through today. Like he's working with Bat in the Sun, doing a whole bunch of like Power
Yeah, I
Ranger
saw
stuff
that.
now. Yeah, it's good. It's a lot more adult though, but it's good.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, dudes. I mean, let's not talk about his MMA career, but he was a legit martial artist, so it's kind of like it works,
Yeah.
I guess. So,
What were we talking about before?
see, this is the problem.
D&D.
This is
D&D.
what's-
D&D.
this is
I'll
what's gonna
bring it
keep
back.
happening.
You're talking about one thing that I'm actually you can't see it, but there's an entire bookshelf of D&D here and there. So yeah, I know this.
Yeah, the mic thing, like this is my second time really playing. Like the first time I played with Chris,
Are
I
you
knew
doing the same
nothing.
campaign that we're doing? Because we're on two different ones that we're playing with Mike.
yeah, but I guess it's the same but different because you guys did something weird, so he started messing with. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't really I pay some attention. I'm not gonna act like I'm like super paying attention, but it's good because the websites do all the work, so I don't have to
Yeah,
just
right,
keep asking
exactly.
Chris, hey, what do I do now? Like
So-
that was my entire first campaign with Chris was just me asking him
Was
what
like,
the fuck
did
I'm
he-
supposed to do.
honestly, most of the tools that I learned and found were because I had Josh as a player. And what made me a better DM was like, fucking, I'm gonna make this shit easier. Hang on. Like, just like fucking...
Well, I
Yeah.
remember when we started
Oh,
playing the
D&D.
Star Wars one, Josh just wanted a chainsaw or something like that.
No,
Yeah, no,
flamethrower.
Flamethrower. He just immediately demanded it. I'm like, you know what, man, just do it. He sets everyone on fire. That's just what he does. He's like,
Every 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm just confused.
So I did the stupidest thing, but I'll tell you about that in the campaign, and then I'm also listening to this podcast to get more familiar with D&D. But anyway, I did the stupidest thing in the campaign where we got to this windmill, and there was this old woman, like a witch or whatever, that apparently she grinds orphans' bones into her baked goods and sells them to people.
Yeah, that's
So-
pretty much what they do.
Yeah, so like, Mike's explaining this whole thing, and it was they're like, okay, so what do you do? And I'm like, I pulled out my broadsword and I attacked. I got my ass handed to me, and I was out for an entire game. So,
Yep. That
So
happens.
don't fight an old woman that grinds up children. That's your
She's a
lesson.
hag, man.
like
everybody
everybody was just laughing so hard. They're like, that was the stupidest thing you ever. I'm like, come on, man. Like you're supposed to be a hero. Like I did the right thing. They're like, no, you did the right thing, but you were severely underleveled to do that. And I'm like, yeah.
That's kind of like, hey, I'm the newborn adventurer at level 1. I see a dragon, I attack, and I'm like, I mean, all right. That's
no.
you
Run
can
away.
choose to do this. Like this is a thing you can do.
Right.
But
I do the Monty Python thing and I just run away.
what was the thing, Josh?
I got
can't remember.
I got beat up by an enchanted broom in our campaign.
That's fucking hilarious.
Beat by an enchanted broom.
My
I
favorite.
didn't lose, but it's just like I got like it knocked hit points off of me, which was stupid. And I hated it.
So
Well, I got
one of
jumped
my
by the witch and 2 other people. I was
yeah.
just out.
Yeah,
Like,
see,
I
but
was
that
their-
makes
I was their
sense. I was
prisoner.
fighting a broom.
that's why I love D&D is like the roles just they dictate the life, and so like Josh could have like the best character against this broom but be rolling like 1s and 2s and be like,
Yeah.
I'm dying to a broom.
I'm over here getting my ass kicked by a broom.
So one of my favorite moments that proves the dice rules this is actually a part that Josh was in when we did a science fiction campaign. I won't go too in detail, but we had another player who played a bug barbarian, and a bug barbarian who had no intelligence, also no social cues because he came from a hive. So he knew nothing about regular culture.
Right.
And he was obsessed with the idea of a snow cone. Just long story, okay? He just wanted to know what it was. And it was this long-term thing. And
Look
finally,
at Josh.
yeah, no, he knows. And so as he goes along, we find it's the thing where they find
man.
out with the bartender, by the way. And so we find a bartender, and one of the other players, I think it was my cousin Colin, said, "Hey, do you know how to make snow cones?" And he says, "Yeah, I can make them here or whatever." I just decided that he could. Now, Ztran plays the character so well, this barbarian, that he runs up to this little gnome barbarian. Ztran is a 7-foot tall giant bug man, and grips him by his shoulders and shakes him, be like, "Show me how you make snow cones." And I'm like, all right, this man is 3 feet tall, weighs probably 40 pounds. I'm going to make him make a constitution save to see if you knock him the fuck out right now. I roll a natural 1. This dude, Ztran, takes him, and I say he bashes his head against the back wall of the bar. They do that. No snow cones because they have to leave because the guards are on the way because he just assaulted the bartender and he never gets to learn how to make snow cones.
That makes me sad that you didn't get to learn how to make snow cones.
But it's just like a natural 1, and the whole party, Josh and everyone, were dying. It's like, you just ruined it for yourself. You'll never learn. It's
He
like,
literally said, "I'll just go make you one." Like all you had to do was stay there. You didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
So speaking of funny ass things in D&D, I started listening to 2 podcasts to like get more familiar with it, so I can like be more comfortable playing and like exploring and like improvising or whatever. So I found one from Rooster Teeth that they just started called Tales of the Stinky Dragon, which is all right.
Yep.
It's, you know, typical Rooster Teeth stuff. But then I stumbled on one that I don't think I've ever laughed so hard listening to a podcast. Like I was literally at work in tears laughing so hard. It's called Dungeons and Daddies.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
it's basically a podcast of D&D
Freddie
with
Wong.
Freddie Wong from Rocket Jump, and
Freddie Wong plays Street Fighter too.
Yeah.
Like
So-
he's in the fighting game community.
yeah. So like it's basically about 4 dads that get thrown into the Forgotten Realms to rescue their sons who were captured, and it's so goddamn funny. Like just some of the stuff that they do. I like they take hit point damage for dad jokes. Like, you know, like
Hey,
stuff
Josh,
like that.
this sounds like it's right up your alley, brother.
You can jump off a bridge. Oh my
Dad
god.
jokes are your favorite.
I listen to so
category.
many podcasts for D&D. Like,
Yeah.
it's so great. Like, I immediately thought of Josh when there's a thing called Dimension 20 Fantasy High. So basically, take this idea. It's like they're high schoolers, but it's an adventuring academy. It's meant to be very funny as well. But they save this little halfling family and they go to the ice cream parlor because they're like 1950s suburbia is what they're doing. And I immediately thought of Josh would die at this point because this is innocent, and they talk like, "Oh, hello there," like a Minnesotan like accent, like very innocent. And now they're trying to say like, because the cops are like hiding something. He's like, now, and he just doesn't want to butt in, but he's there all of a sudden, and he's this innocent little halfling guy, and he says, "Well, all you need to understand is that laws are threats made by the dominant socioeconomic group." And everyone's like, "Whoa, whoa!" And all you need to do sometimes, you got to do is make some bacon. That's all I'm telling you. And it's like, what the fuck? It just throws out of left field, and I love that shit.
I love Freddie Wong's character in Dungeons and Daddies because he plays a
Yeah.
bard, or like a rock star cover band bard dad, and his name is Glenn Close.
That's funny. That's
Yes.
fucking funny.
And all he does is like Christmas covers like for his band, but like whenever he like does like one of his special powers or whatever, like he breaks out like old like 80s rock tunes, like he'll start singing Van Halen or like whatever. Like,
I'm gonna have to check this out.
Yeah,
That's
but I'll
funny.
have to get. I mean, we're playing Josh, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Um,
sure we are. Yeah, I'm
haven't
sure that'll
done it.
happen
It's
anytime
actually
soon.
done.
Well then, okay, then where's my messages?
yeah, what's going on with
Okay,
your
you guys
your
just get
campaign?
along
Okay,
okay?
my campaign is literally I'm the solo writer writing an entire homebrew bullshit for about 4 different campaigns, and Josh here is dancing like a dog that needs to go pee.
All right, hold on,
that's
hold
what's
on.
happening.
Do Daddy AJ and Uncle Doug need to have an intervention?
No,
here?
it's not really. Josh is just very excited to play the character that we made.
Now,
for
is
himself.
this the campaign for
Gangs of
source,
Athray? Yeah, it's
for
what
source
I'm doing.
for source material? The campaign that you're working on, or
No, the superhero one is Josh and I also agreed that is a very complex thing that we're gonna have to work out for a long period of time.
Everything that
figured
comes
out
from
that
you is
there's way
complex.
too much work involved.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work,
if it comes from Chris Millet, it's immediately complex.
but
There's no
yes, that's
question
true.
about that.
That's true. But realistically, this is called Gangs of Athray, in which Doug and AJ are absolutely invited because I would love to do that with everyone here.
let's make it a podcast.
I'll do it as a podcast. Fuck it. Gangs of Athray is this. Everyone is now. I will put it just plain through line. It is a 1920s, all right, but fantasy with magic and all that stuff. Everyone is animal folk of different types. There's all different types of animal folk, animal humanoids, and I am playing off of every gang movie stereotype you can have, The Godfather, everything like that. And you guys are playing gang members that are building up their rep throughout the entire society.
That sounds
Just imagine
Basically-
this.
Basically, you have a current furry like atmosphere.
Pretty much, yeah. But just imagine this. Imagine a giant Jabba the Hutt sized fish man with a cigar going,
Oh, and here you are upon the day of my daughter's egg laying. Lovely.
and just like doing shit like that. Like,
I love that you
It's
see
like-
voice acting.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
yeah. It is so wonderful to see you.
doing things like that, or and then just making gangs that I already know will piss Josh off to the point where he'll fight them. So I already have one that's called the Cool Cats, and they're greasers, and they're gonna do jet
my
dance moves
God.
across the thing, and Josh is
Ugh.
just gonna beat them up. We talked about it. It's like, I just hate that you exist, right?
So what are you
Or,
what are you gonna be, Josh? A barbarian?
Yeah,
I'm
pretty
gonna be
much.
mad.
He's a
Pretty much.
barbarian ox, actually, is what he is at the moment. So
Oh my goodness.
I'll be the bard.
He literally
Give me
is
a
like, I'll
bar.
just make content based on when I piss Josh off.
It works
That's
out.
what I do.
Yeah, it works out pretty
It's
well.
funny because like it creates this dynamicism where I go, it's like my character wouldn't be mad, but Josh is very mad. And it's yes,
It's called
pretty-
inspiration, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Like, especially when half of you guys make so many fucking dad jokes, it makes me want to jump off a bridge.
Yeah.
But
well, you're a big kid. You're a big kid.
fucking
Yeah,
all of
big kid.
practice,
Hey,
fucking
big kid.
between Mike and Doug alone. And then Chris would just pile on because he knew it
Uh-huh.
would fucking because it was
'Cause I'm an
funny to
asshole.
him to watch
Yeah.
me go fucking nuts.
Yeah, dad jokes aren't my thing, but Josh's suffering is my thing. So it's how it would always work.
That's
Especially,
how-
oh my god, practice when we're doing like in the basement and all that stuff. Oh man, it would devolve like in between songs of screaming like children and Josh just in the back like, what are you fuckers doing? Like, what is happening?
I will give you confidence, Chris, that AJ also participates in the dad jokes category.
Yeah, it's true.
So-
Well, welcome, sir. And actually, the three of you, and I'm hoping Mr. Castro will join us for that as well. So it'll be the four of you probably doing this. After
That would
gang
be
thing.
awesome.
So-
I would
and I
so
might
record
that.
this.
I definitely want to do it as a podcast. You can-
I would definitely be love to be a part of that as long as it's like on the weekend.
you guys are like nerds. I don't know if I'm into nerd shit.
Excuse me, Mr. GameCube. I can visibly see from his camera.
I don't know what
Mr.
you're
Soul
talking about.
Caliper over here.
I don't know what you're saying here.
Mr. Rave
bookcase.
Rave energy
64.
drinks.
I don't know
There's
what you're talking
N64
about.
under there too.
Josh just slaps his. I'm sorry. Doug just slaps his bookcase and everything falls over. I don't know what you mean.
I don't know.
So let's take a
This just happened to show
180. Let's take a 180 degree camera view of what you're currently staring at for your setup, and just
Nope.
Nope. He said.
No, sir.
The only thing I have that you guys should care about is my Obama playing cards.
Like
Bought
what?
those in DC.
What are we doing?
I don't understand.
oh my god,
And they're unopened.
There you go.
collector's item.
It's a collector's item.
My presidential playing cards. It says re-elect on the back.
Apparently they worked.
Which happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently it was a
They
good
worked
strategy.
out.
Yeah, like
And then we
my
had a
all-time
giant turd
favorite.
for 4 years.
So my all-time favorite, right? Thing that happens is in the D&D campaign, my cousin Colin, he works in politics, doing canvassing and re-election stuff. What we've been doing is he's currently in the New York mayor, one of the lead people in one of the New York mayoral candidates, right? So every time that we walk into our D&D session, it's like, because a lot of us work in New York right now, or work for companies in New York, is like, so Colin, tell me, I'm curious about who I should vote for New York City mayor. Please tell me. And he automatically starts pitching us. It's like, oh yes, this candidate, and it just become a running thing for him to have to reelect. It's like, think about this candidate right here. Yes, of course, this one is the best. Like, it's like,
I would vote
and he
for
fucking
the cat.
hates us.
I would vote for the cat from Alaska. That's what I'd vote
That's
for.
I want more weird political candidates, not like people, like in have you ever seen the British Parliament candidate that's Lord Buckethead? Have you ever seen this before? Oh my
Sure, I've
fucking
seen him
god!
play live before.
The guy,
I've seen him play live.
yeah, I probably.
He's not
So,
touring with Limp Bizkit. He's
this
out in
guy,
Parliament,
he
apparently.
wears like a garbage pail on his head, and has for the last 15 years run for a seat in British Parliament, and
Jesus
it's
Christ.
fucking hilarious. Like just.
Yeah, fuck you.
I mean, it's got to be better than everybody else running the country right now. I mean,
Pretty
you got
much.
Cuomo
Can't
running
hurt.
New York over there, and that giant ass scandal that happened to him, and he's just like, "Hey, let's legalize weed to get everybody off my back right now." Like,
Then you got De Blasio, which we don't need to talk about De Blasio. Fuck off.
That's the weird part. De Blasio is like attacking Cuomo. And I'm like, you guys are two peas in a pod.
I'm like,
what are you
De
doing?
Blasio. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. Scandal aside, fuck him. You've got way more on your table. Like, what the fuck?
Like you're both a couple of assholes, but you're like, look at this bigger asshole. And it's like, no, but you're a big asshole too.
Yeah, exactly. Pot, kettle, like what the fuck? Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
they're both pouring out of the same tap.
Yep, pretty much, man.
I've been trying to like keep up with everything going on in politics right now, and
your
it's
brain
just
will
like
explode.
it literally is like. And
Dude,
the-
after post Trump, I went, I can't do it anymore. For
I
right
know,
now. Like,
I
it's
know.
just too much.
it really
When we
is.
stopped Citizens Informed, we were just like, I was just like, Josh, I really can't deal with the fact that everybody tells me I'm wrong, even when I give them information.
Right,
I'm just like,
right.
you know what? Fuck it. I'm done.
This is how this works.
For 5
Tell
years,
people the truth and they get madder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, and like that happened with like a customer that I had at my part-time job recently, like a loyal like customer, and like I told him at the end, I'm like, dude, we're cool, right? Like I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but like my views are very much liberal. I want to say, like, I'm open to progression and everything like that, but like he's very conservative and whatever, and his views this, that, and the other. And then I don't know how we just got into it, but like we did. And then the owner came in and he was kind of chiming in a little bit with me on it. And we were just talking about the whole Trump thing and like what happened at the Capitol and everything. And I'm just like, dude, like
It was Antifa, though. It was Antifa, 100% Antifa. You know, it's all Antifa nonsense. Yeah. I don't want to do that right now. I hate myself by saying even that line. I hate that. Anyways.
I always put it this way: every single political faction has a hand in being an asshole.
Mhm.
Whether it's conservative or it's libertarian or it's progressive or it's democratic or whatever.
Right.
Every single group acts like assholes because there's human beings involved.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I don't sit there and like try to blame a specific group. I'm just like, yeah, there was a time that these people act like assholes, just like these people acted like assholes.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
You know, I always look back in history. I mean, like, in effect, while as good as he was, FDR basically who was basically liberal at the time, ran the government like a tyrant, more or less, because it was during World War II and the Great Depression. Like, listen, he did great things, but still, like, there's a reason we put term limits after that. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah, there was issues involved. As Josh and I were having that conversation in the car yesterday about Obama, and we were just like, we were talking about his 8 years. In the first 2 years, like, he had the opportunity to get anything done because he had a Democratic House and Senate, but they were all a bunch of assholes and they couldn't fucking figure anything out. And after that,
kind of what we're dealing with again right now.
and it's all about reaching across the aisle. And I'm like, don't get me wrong, I'm all quite working, but at some point, you know, like when one group consistently, and I'm mainly talking about specific people, not a party, keeps shitting on you, eventually you have to go, no, fuck you. We have to start doing work.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
you got to call those people out. If there's a specific asshole in the party, just tell them, like, hey, you're a fucking asshole. Like, what's wrong with that?
Ted Cruz.
They're like, oh,
Ted Cruz
sounds violent. No, you're just an asshole.
Mitch McConnell.
no, Ted Cruz isn't an asshole. He's an alien that's not from here. That's the truth. Okay. There's because
But even on the left, there's plenty of assholes.
Oh
like,
yeah. What is it? That governor? What is it? That senator from West Virginia? I forget his name. Who's just like, he voted against the 6th commission or whatever the hell because he doesn't want. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, because he has a very conservative base or whatever, and it's just fuck off, you asshole. Like,
yeah, everybody plays the game.
Yeah. I mean,
know.
don't get me wrong. I put into this whole time. I think the three of us have talked about it, but like, Nancy Pelosi everyone's like, well, she's the Speaker of the House. I'm like, she's also a real estate mogul who drives up the entire cost of all of San Francisco and shoots down all low income. Who shoots down all low income housing in San Francisco for her own money benefit. Yeah. So, you know, she's an asshole. Like,
you
know. Mm-hmm. This is our conversations.
Back to you, AJ.
I don't know.
Also, no, this is our conversations. We go from nerd shit D&D to like, let's talk about the cynical attitudes of politics at the moment. Josh, coming in from the report, can you tell us what's going on with the cynical politics at the moment?
Shit's fucked up.
That's how that works. That's pretty much it. That's the easiest answer as well.
What do you call the family guy? Wally the weatherman?
I love it.
I was just thinking like Family Guy, just like what's going on with the weather? Holly, it's gonna rain. Like
rain sideways.
Yeah. Oh my fucking god. Just,
oh my god.
Christ. This is gonna go off the rail. You think it's off the rail? It's not off the rails yet. We're getting there. The train's picking up speed. I've put it into maximum overdrive, and Doug and Josh are going woo, and it's now.
Wait,
it's
is
about
this
to
a
go off the
magnetic
rails.
train or is this a steam train or like what type of train?
Well, it depends. I mean, we'll have to
friendly?
ask Papa Biden because he likes Amtrak so much. So we'll have to figure out with him. You know, so it's like.
Just slip him a Weathers candy and just say go sit down. We'll figure it out.
My favorite, I actually really love this analogy, which is that Biden is 100% America's stepdad after mom left an abusive boyfriend. That's exactly what happens. Like, he's like, he treats me so nice, guys. And he's just like, have a sweet boy. Have a sweetie. It's like, he's really old. Jesus.
He's really nice, especially when he smells me for something like, you know. I mean, you know, I haven't had much physical contact recently because of the pandemic, but you know, it's kind of nice. You know,
it's kind of nice.
Listen, we can all agree, regardless of your feelings,
it's a little
he
weird.
touches a little too much.
Yes,
It's a little weird. He smells like
pizza.
Ben Gay.
Doug's out. He's grabbing pizza.
Reeks of Ben Gay and fucking mothballs, but it works out.
I mean, it's better than someone grabbing you by the junk. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. That's true. He touches in a better way, but still too much touching.
Better way.
Don't clip that. Don't take that out of context. Nope. Don't highlight that.
Too late.
God. You know what I can't wait for, and then we'll move on. But Bezos just bought MGM. So Amazon got the rights to MGM Studios, and you know who has the apprenticeship bloopers and deleted stuff? MGM.
Yeah.
And
Bezos hates Trump. So.
yes, so we might see some. From what I've been hearing and reading about, there's a lot of apprenticeship clips of like Trump calling people the N-word, C-word, everything like that, and I'm like,
This will be interesting.
yes. So.
Okay. Also, Bezos.
It'll probably be available on Amazon Prime. So.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Put it behind a paywall. He'll make billions. Put the Trump stuff behind a paywall. Will make billions. I will pay that money.
It'll be bigly money.
Bigly money. Bigly. Yeah. And actually, it'll just be a movie titled "The Best Words," and just he'll just play it like that. You know.
How's your pizza, Doug?
Good. It's the Celeste. It's Celeste for $1 pizza.
Nice.
4 cheese.
Oh yeah.
Delicious, doesn't it?
Personal fan.
Wait,
pizza.
you didn't cut it? You're just eating it like a fucking cookie? What are you, a absolute animal?
Hey, you can't look. Single guys that live alone got to do what they got to do. All right, you know.
Don't you judge me.
No judgment.
He doesn't want to
Doug.
dirty a
No
knife,
judgment for me.
Chris. He's not gonna dirty a knife.
Look, I put it on a plate, okay?
At least it's on a plate. At least it's on a plate. It could be on a paper towel. It could be out of a cardboard box.
Exactly, right?
He just puts it on top of the box that he fucking bought.
Either that, or I want it still hot to be in Doug's hand, going ha. Is he just eating it as like a cookie? No plate, no nothing.
You?
Oh my God!
How dare you judge me?
Oh my God!
I've done worse. It's fine.
I watched him eat an entire bag of shredded cheese once. Just to the face.
That tasted like nachos.
Yeah. I ate all shredded cheese. It's fine. Don't ask.
the
Oh my
face.
God!
Yep. Listen, I'm lactose intolerant. Don't ask questions. All right. Sometimes a man needs cheese.
And then pays for it later. Yes.
Yeah, I pay for it later. Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, did you really have that on?
Did you actually?
What is happening right now?
Oh, I got a soundboard.
Let's hear it again. Go ahead.
Give it.
Where's the? Oh,
it's like the lowest symbol.
yeah.
Oh, hang on. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I'll turn it up.
I can hear the but the shh is like somebody just went like put a little muffler around it.
There. Is that better?
That's better. That's better.
But anyway.
Now we're getting off the rails. Now it's happening.
Yes.
There we go.
So what else is new, guys? Like, Chris, how's the wedding planning going?
Wedding planning's good. Planning's good. And a lot. I just finished paying everything off, so now
AKA she's doing it.
Yeah. No. You act like I would ever have a say in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you act like everyone's like, what's going on with this, that, and the other thing? I'm like, you are asking the wrong person. I have no. All I get is the bill. Like, that's what I get. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
As you deserve.
As I deserve. Yeah, exactly. We actually had the funniest joke. Obviously, I was getting Josh's address for invitations, and I need to get
my
yours,
address.
Doug. I need to get yours, Doug. I'm literally doing that this month. But
sorry, I'm too important.
I understand. But my favorite was getting a phone call from Josh that says, "Motherfucker, if I don't get here, if I don't get an invitation, you're gonna hear a thump like." And Josh said the straight up hood thump of a dunk, and opens up. Kate's gonna open the door. He's like, "Hey, Kate, how are you? I just need to speak to your fiance really quick." Motherfucker, just start beating the fuck out of me in the fucking apartment. Just like.
Let me ask you this question, because if you are gonna invite me, I don't know if you are or not, but it's okay either way.
Mm-hmm.
What weekend is it, so I can check? Because I'll bring my kid with me.
October 30th.
Ooh.
Yes.
Spooky.
Yes.
What's wrong with you fuckers?
No, there's nothing wrong with us. You're the problem.
How? Okay, like you say that now. How long have you known us? Like, yes, of course there is. Like,
But I've never had qualms with the fact that I'm psychotic. Like, we know
White
this.
people get married on Halloween. Crazy white people.
Hey Jay, you're the guy who said it exactly right.
Yep, there it is.
I mean, Isn't that the case? How many black people you know that got married on Halloween? Why is it such a white weekend to get married?
I'm just keeping track now. How
What do you
many
want me to
times
get it in
Doug's
February?
walked
What
off
the fuck?
camera?
Like,
This
what?
is number 3.
Well, now he needs a soda for the rest to wash down the pizza.
Oh my god, this is awesome. And people listening right now are gonna be like, "What the hell happened to this show?" Like,
This is what happens when you get the 3 of us. At least it just goes nuts.
The round table is fun. The round table
Yes.
is about just hanging out.
Hey, Doug, we
Exactly.
can barely hear you. You gonna sit down? Yeah, there you go. Oh boy.
The round
Oh,
table is
boy.
about having fun.
yes,
What a good
exactly.
guy.
I'll just be Doug. Hey guys, the round table's about having fun over here. You guys, I'm getting pizza.
Hold on 1 second.
Oh, I'm getting pizza over here.
Everyone can
I'll be
hear
right
that.
back. Gotta use the bathroom. Can you guys hear me piss?
Dude,
I
my
got a very
coworker-
aggressive stream. It's
My,
just
my coworker does that. My
Oh,
coworker,
God.
like in the middle of a conference call, he'll be like, "I got a question to ask," and while he's asking, you hear echoing, and you're like, "It sounds like he's in the bathroom."
Mm.
He's like, I got a question about this certain policy, and all of a sudden you hear like the stream hitting the water. And I'm just like, this motherfucker.
I can't
Kissing in the
stand that.
bathroom.
Like, I know you're in the back.
My dad does that shit to us all the fucking time. Like, it's so, like, even like growing, I don't want to put him on blast, but like even growing up too, like he was the type that would have the bathroom door wide open. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like,
I don't know
you
how people
close
do
the
that,
fucking
man.
door. Like,
Yeah,
I want to
it's
see
like-
you taking a dump. Like, nobody wants to fucking see that. You know, like.
oh, fuck.
So much so that like my older brother started doing it. I'm like, this is disgusting. Like, this is fucking gross. Like, I can't stand people that do that. Or like, you know, or if I call you and you answer and you're using the fucking bathroom, and you know, especially my dad will do it all the time. You just hear the strain in his voice, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's nothing. I'm like, okay, call me back when you're done taking a shit. Like,
Now that I know this about you, I'm gonna make sure that when you call me, I'm gonna go take a piss.
no. Like, oh god, it's-
Automatically run to the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't.
It's
I
like the
don't care.
most private thing like you can do as a human being is when you're relieving yourself. I don't want to know when you're relieving yourself. Like, I don't, like, even when like people joke about it, like on podcasts, and they talk about like their bowel movements or like this, I'm like, can you just shut up? Like, I don't want to hear about like.
That's not. I don't have that fetish, man. I don't know why people want to talk about
Yeah,
it. It's fine. Like,
oh, it's perfectly normal. No, it's fucking not. Like, you know, like yes,
there's a
it's not-
reason there's a separate room, by the way. Like,
yes, it's a normal human thing to do that, but no, it's not normal to talk about it. Like, it's not normal.
Especially in a conference call with another 167 other people.
I think the conference call is the only appropriate time to do it.
Or like how some dudes like taking photos of their dumps. Like, why? Why do you do
Yeah,
that? Like, I don't.
that's some
I don't
weird.
get-
That's some weird
it's
shit.
so weird.
All right. My favorite is though I had a moment. So I'll be on like Discord or on a call, right? I will mute myself and like obviously turn off my camera. I'm like, I have to pee, right? So
Yes.
I'll go to the. But these are Bluetooth headphones, and sometimes I forget that they are. So I'll be peeing, and all of a sudden somebody talks to me. So Chris, what do you think? I'm like, who's in the bathroom with me? Oh fuck. Who are you? Oh, headphones. Right.
That's some of the funniest
Jesus.
shit too that they've had to edit out from a lot of podcasts. Like a lot of like people would like talk about too. Like, oh yeah, during meetings or whatever. Like, oh, we can hear you peeing. Like, oh, like like during the whole pandemic. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Oh God. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
How the fuck
All
did
right,
we
I
get
just
on
want to
this
go over the
subject?
topics. I want to go over the topics really quick. So we had D&D,
Yes.
politics and cynical view,
Bathroom.
Doug's Pizza, and now peeing on microphone. So that's our 4.
Doing good. I think
We're-
we're,
no, I think
covering
we're
a
good.
lot.
We've been half an hour. Like,
No,
covering a
quick
lot.
thing. This follows the bullet points you had for this conversation, right,
Yeah,
AJ?
I
Just
think
right
Right,
down the
this is
line, you know?
my bullet points were life, what's been new, music, geeking out, future plans and plugs. So yeah, we're way off the rails now. So.
I think we fit well within that. I think we fit well within that. Yeah. It's fine. It's fine.
Tell me how we can twist this around to where it actually works.
I mean,
Peeing
I
is a
do
part
have
of
to
life, so
say,
there, covered that
as
topic.
as a plug,
Well, we're not
and
at
as,
we're not at plugs yet, but
well,
you know,
no,
we'll get
no, but I do want to talk about
Some
something
showers
because-
have plugs, right?
Yeah, it's
so
fine.
there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
It's not
Plugs
plugging,
covered.
but
some people like golden ones, but
I did listen to some of the newer Fear the Masters music that came out, and I actually really fucking love it. So I just have to say that. So you guys you fucking killed it. So I just want to throw that over there. I said it to you guys already, but I just want to say it actually because
Right.
like this shit is awesome.
So if this is the first time you're listening to the Roads We've Traveled podcast, first of all, you need to get caught
How
up.
are you gonna disclaim
Yeah.
this?
So second of all, the three gentlemen that I am talking to today are members and former members of Fear the Masses. So and it's always a great time catching up with these guys. They're friends of mine from the music scene, from my time in the music scene. And you can, like I said, go back and listen to episodes and hear old stories. But yeah, just to get you caught up on everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to say
Continue.
this: the Roads We Traveled is also a good podcast because of the fact that AJ does get one-on-one with people and talk about very deep topics. And the reason why I bring this up is because I shared your podcast with some of my fellow Soul Calibur players in the last couple days, and they're interested in listening and they're interested in being a part of the podcast. So
I appreciate that.
well, the round table is fun. Like the round table is us just kind of like bullshitting and having a good time, but the one-on-one, you really get to talk and learn about who somebody is.
Yeah, I mean, the podcast that me and AJ had was one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done. Like,
Yeah, I had
it
a lot
was
of fun.
so much fun
Yeah, I have
laughing,
a
and
hard
actually
time
got
picking
some
on
really
AJ.
deep shit. It's
We're talking about times at the gym and how uncomfortable I get seeing old man junk when I go
Yeah.
change in the locker room.
and then we would go to mental health talk after that, like really serious, and then all of a sudden it's like old man junk. It's like okay.
I got a
Comfortable. I think you said loving it wrong. Absolutely
I'm-
loving it when old man junk. I think
I
that's
got
what you meant to
I got
say.
a text on the sidebar where somebody was like, "Hey, I didn't realize you went through so much you went through when you were a kid," and I was like,
I didn't either, and I learned that from you when we did our episode together.
I was
"Whoa."
like, yeah, like everybody goes through something. It's not like in my opinion, everybody goes through something. That something is different, but that something isn't better or worse than anyone else.
Yeah. No,
And
go ahead. Sorry.
that's where I think it lands is like, look, I go through hardship, you go through hardship. We can't compare like A to A, but we can at least have a conversation about how hard it was to do the things that we did. And I like the fact that AJ, and I'll give you the wholehearted credit, is like, I like the fact that you're doing a podcast where you're talking about the mental health. Like we're still having fun as a round table, but we're still going to have a conversation about the mental health. Like Josh called me 3 days ago and he said to me, he's like, "How you doing, man? The band is worried about you. They're worried about how you doing." And I was doing laundry at the time, and I was just like, you know what? Like, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you, like, look, I'm having a tough time. Like, I'm having a hard time being alone, like trying to make things work.
Yeah.
Same.
I got away from alcohol, but alcohol is starting to become the thing that like kind of like helps me again. And that's not the right thing to do. And I know that. And that's where we got to have this conversation about the mental health, like to be people who are not just friends, but we're family to each other. And
Sure.
to have the talk like, hey, I mean, all three of you that are on this round table, damn well we've all had some deep conversations. And that's why I'm really proud to be on this round table, because
Dude.
you guys are important people and we've had those conversations and we'll continue to have those conversations. And other people who are looking for a way to vent and to talk, you got to do it. It's the best
100%.
way you can alleviate some of the stress. I'm not saying it's the perfect example, but
Sure.
it's a start.
I mean, I would just say, like, Doug and Josh, I'm sure you know this. We were always like this. Like that Doug and Josh were instrumental in me dealing with my mental health when we were doing the band. Like when I first started, Josh can tell I was a mess of anxiety figuring that out. And it was actually under Josh's suggestion of like, dude, you should really talk about this and figure this shit out, because that isn't normal what you're going through. Well, it's normal that people go through. It's not normal the way that you're dealing with this is the best way I'll put it.
I would rephrase that in the sense that like it's normal what you go through, but there's people there that want to listen and help.
Exactly. And it was always a huge thing, especially in when we were doing Fear the Masses, all of us together. It was always, we played shows and all this stuff, but it didn't stop for us when we got out of practice or a show. We were a family through and through. If shit was going down with someone, it was always like, dude, what do you need? What do you need to do? All this stuff. And that was a huge formative part of me. I said it in our podcast, AJ. It's like the band was a huge formative process for me, because I came out of this, I've been through it with everyone here, but this absolutely, kind of weird, I would call privilege, but also semi-abusive growing up world, and to be out on our own, figure that out, having people that would be like, dude, you can talk, like, that's not okay what you went through, and you shouldn't have to deal with that. Let's talk about it,
Right.
It's important that you talk about this shit, because it's also, when you say something out loud, it's different than in your head. If you say, I'm really angry about X, Y, and Z, you say that out loud, not just to a friend, just to the void. Your brain all of a sudden goes, that's stupid. Why the hell are we doing this? Like, why is this?
And when your friends hit you up, like I had a point a couple days ago where Josh hit me up and he was like, hey, everybody in the band is worried about how you're doing.
Yeah.
And then about 3 to 6 months ago, AJ hit me up and he was like, hey man, how you doing? You look like you're not doing too well. Like that's where the understanding comes in. I mean, none of us are professionals, but that's where somebody looks at you and says, hey brother, like, I can see where you may not be doing so well. And as an educator, what I do the same thing to my students. Like, I see what my students are doing and I'm like, hey, you look off. And I learned that from my friends, and I learned that from what I call my friend family. Like,
sometimes it's just easier, man. Like we all know each other well enough to know when something's not right, when you're not doing something you normally would do, or you're acting out of character. So it's not hard to see if you actually pay enough attention or you care enough about the person. So I think in that way it's easier for a friend to approach it than even sometimes for people themselves to approach it. It's sometimes really hard for people to even know that they're really going through something, and because there's so much just doing their day-to-day, going through the motions, that they almost don't even process the fact that I'm not eating, I'm not doing this, I'm not going to the gym anymore, I'm not doing the things that I normally would do on a regular day-to-day basis. I stopped doing those things, and it's like you don't notice them because it's your everyday life and you're just going through it. It's the same way when you lose weight. When you're losing weight, you look in the mirror every day, so it's like you don't notice that you're losing weight. It's usually somebody else outside of it. It's like, hey man, like you lost like 10, 15, like you look good, like what happened? And it's just like, oh, I didn't even notice.
Fucking really? Like they're just doing that.
Yeah. It's like you don't notice it.
And I think Josh, I can with you and I, especially, like sometimes when you're going through something, and we've had those conversations back and forth, sometimes it's not even like some people think of it as like, oh, my friends are having a therapy session with me. No, it's literally, I'm having a bad time or Josh had a bad time. Sometimes he calls me or I call him, and it's literally us just bullshitting for 30 minutes of being like, yo, man, this shit sucks. He's like, I hear you, dude. This isn't great. And that's all I need sometimes to be like, because I like to say I'm not alone in my madness, that someone says, dude, you're not insane for thinking this is terrible and that you're going
your
through
madness
this.
in mind.
My mad, keeping it in my mind. Yes. But fuck you.
I remember you and I having the conversation about madness in mind.
Yeah. About what?
To you.
Yeah, so for those listeners, I have a persona that I still use to this day with madness in mind. So full transparency, I have bipolar mania, which is my basically, more or less in layman's terms, my brain sometimes reacts to situations to the point of, if it gets bad enough, psychosis. Now, I haven't had that in a very long time due to therapy and coping mechanisms and good friends. But it was me taking back my ownership of my mind, more like that. Is taking back the ownership of it and not allowing it to run off the rails and says, no, I own this. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without the advocacy of my friends and the people around me to go like, dude, you're out of character right now. What's happening? And I would say it. It's like, dude, just rail it in, like pull it in, and you've got this, you know? And it's super important to me that, you know, people just, especially with friends, just being able to say, yo, man, how you doing? That's it. That's all it is. That's all it is.
And I don't want to leave AJ out of this, but I think
fuck him.
This is where
I with his podcast thinks he can talk.
Wait.
No, this is where I think
me, right?
There it is.
This is where I think that like I have a big amount of respect for what AJ is doing, and that is that he's actually really talking about mental health. Like I ran a podcast and I talked about Soul Calibur, and Josh and I ran a podcast and we talked about politics. But AJ runs a podcast and he talks about like who you are as a person, and the roads we traveled is, I think, like when I share it, like I got you some fans today.
I appreciate it.
And it's really about just you being a human being. Right. And I think that what you're doing is a good thing. I know other people are doing the same thing, and it's a good thing, but it's just about talking about who you are as a person and where you sit in life, not only with yourself, but the people around you. And I think, you know, I'm 39. I'm finally learning that talking is really the best remedy to figuring out what the fuck is going on.
Right. Exactly. I mean, like for me, you know, I appreciate all the kind words. You know, it helps me to stay motivated to keep doing this podcast, because there are days where I'm just like, I'm tired. I don't want to keep working on this. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing everything myself. Like I look at the numbers. Some weeks I have good numbers. Some weeks I don't. You know, and I'm like, am I really making a difference? Or am I just wasting my time doing this sometimes? And, you know, I could be focusing on other things in my life. And, you know, that's where my mental health is all over the place, and my anxiety and everything, which I discovered this year. I have really bad anxiety along with my depression. And yeah, welcome to the club, AJ. Yes.
So rattles medication bottle around. There you go.
So, and I would just get stuck in my head like all the time about it. And I noticed that this was a pattern for years, that I would just constantly overthink things. I would constantly think about things that don't even matter, but I'm still thinking about. And it got to a boiling point this year for me where I was having panic attacks, and I would have this chest pain like randomly all the time, but I never really knew what it was. And then all of a sudden it just manifested, and I researched it. I talked to my new doctor about it, and she was like, yeah, you're having panic attacks. Like, so I started seeing a new therapist and doing CBT treatment, which is basically, I discussed on the last episode. It's basically just, you know, breathing exercises, almost like meditating, you know, finding points on your body that you can like lightly tap to like ground yourself again, and bring you back to reality. And mine is in between my pinky and my ring finger, where I would lightly tap it. I would say something like, okay, like, I'm sad right now, but I'm doing the best I can. And I would just repeat that a few times, close my eyes, and then I would take a deep breath in, deep breath out. And then I'm like, okay, like I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm grounding myself. Let me try it again. And then I would slowly come back down to reality. But the other thing is too, is I started taking medication for the first time in my life. And I'm on a very low dose of Lexapro. I don't really know if it's helping or not, because the first couple
I know a lot about Lexapro, so if you ever want to talk about it.
That's what I take. I've been taking it for part of 10 years.
Yep.
So I go ahead.
Venaflaxin. I'm literally reading the thing. It's anti-anxiety medication.
I take.
I don't fuck whatever they said I should take. It works well.
So
like Yeah, go ahead.
The first 2 weeks I was taking it, I didn't really notice a difference. Last week when I saw or maybe it was the week before, I forget. Time it doesn't exist to me anymore because I'm so fried all the time. But I saw my therapist this past week, and then last week was a really rough week for me because I was just like, I don't know if it was the meds working in my system finally or something, my body readjusting, but I was super depressed all last week. And I there was a point where like I got home one night and I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking kill myself. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with me. Like, I'm in my head right now. I was like, I just want to end it right now. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I just got home from work. I'm like, why do I bother with any of this stuff? And I'm standing there doing dishes and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Like, why are you thinking like this? Like, maybe it's your meds, maybe it's not. You know, how about you calm down for a second? Let's think about something else. And that's where the CBT treatment came in to like fix my mind, to ground myself again. So I'm like, okay, you got vacation time coming up. What can you do? You obviously can't go anywhere because you don't have enough money. So, which is always another thing in my mind. So I'm like, okay, I'll do a little staycation, plan something out. When do I want to take my vacation? So I put in my vacation time for July finally. Got all that figured out. And I'm like, okay, what are you going to do? What are you going to focus on for that week off? Like, you know, maybe you could go see some family in Massachusetts just for a day or something like that. You got projects in your apartment you've been wanting to do that you keep putting off. So I kept thinking about that while doing my dishes. And I'm like, okay, I'm actually looking forward to this now. And then I immediately snapped out of whatever the hell I was thinking, you know, because I got home that night. I'm like, I want to slip my wrist. Like,
I'm somebody
like...
who doesn't. I'm somebody who doesn't really get into the depression state too much. But like, that's disheartening to me. Like, because I love you like a brother, and like I would want you to come down here and hang out in my place and be a part of what I do in my life, which is really pretty much not important. But I would want you to be here. Like, I don't want to see somebody that I care about feel so down on themselves. But I also get it.
It's also very hard for me because, like, you know, you and I are both in the same boat right now, Doug, because, you know, you know, we're both single. We're both we live alone. But the problem with me is that working nights the last 3 years has really messed with my psyche. And it's something that I'm trying to find a different job, line of work to like be better. Because when I was working days before, I would work my shift, I would go to the gym afterward, I would come home, I would eat right, get a good night's rest. I'm not sleeping good. There are times where I'm only getting a couple hours of sleep now, besides my neighbor waking me up in the morning with his cars, or just mentally, like, I just can't sleep. And it's,
and I feel you, because like I did the third shift stuff, and like, I will never attest to what Josh and Chris went through with their oddball schedules, but I spent a year doing a third shift and it messed my life up. And that's what I don't want to hear is that you're struggling. Like, I want to be somebody that's here for you,
man.
And
like,
but I still understand that even if you know there's people here for you, you still feel alone, and everybody's in that camp.
Right.
It's amazing how much your own mind can isolate you via your own just thought processes, even though you know there are people around you care. Like, dude, if you called and said that type of stuff, I'd be on the phone with you immediately. That would be a thing. It's the same thing with, like, I think I'm isolated, but all I need to do is I pick up the phone, call Josh, is like, yo, dude, you got 30 minutes, I'm having a bad time. Josh talks, it's fine.
I usually hit up Josh like immediately because I know he's up. So
you know? Exactly. Well, Josh
not sleeping.
Knows. Like, Josh and I would struggle with insomnia our pretty much our whole lives.
I want to say this. I think the four of us in this round table pretty much can have a lot of experience where we connect with each other when we are really down and out.
100%. And you know, not to tail around the whole thing, right? Tail around back to the beginning, because that's not really what the topic about. So, number one, I totally sympathize with those thoughts, AJ. Just to say that's utterly valid in that way. For me, so I don't manifest depression. What I manifest is extreme mania, psychosis, anger is where I go 100% of the time. Both Josh and Doug have witnessed it. And it's irrational, and I do my best to get it under control, but it's bad. And sometimes it can just get to the point where it's like I'm ending it. That's that whole thing. I haven't been there in a very long time,
Right.
because of coping mechanisms and a good habit and schedule that I get myself into. And the reason I bring up my medication, and this is the biggest breakthrough I ever had in my life, is I took this medication. I was so skeptical of it. I was always kind of like, I don't know, because with bipolar, a lot of people go, well, lithium, which messes with your brain completely.
Yeah,
That's
lithium
just
is
not what I
bad.
want. Yeah. So, but what one therapist suggests is why don't we treat the anxiety portion of it, and then you can manage the bipolar, which I've grown to manage, right? And so I take this stuff, and this is a huge breakthrough that Josh and Doug are gonna know. Josh, Doug, I can talk to people when I wake up in the morning now and not be a complete douchebag, which is like not, I've been that way my whole life. I was like, oh, wow, that was day one of taking this thing. It was
You were
just
always you were always a manageable douchebag.
yeah, that's true. That's very true. But the when I took it, but then it was also, it's one of the reasons I gravitate towards D&D a lot, right? It's because my brain goes in so many different ways, and it's my coping mechanism, not only to hang out with my friends, not only to tell an enjoyable story for people and to laugh with them and have a good time. It is a place of expression where I can put on the page a dark part of my mind in the form of a silly character, but I can put this character who's like, how'd you come up with the evil villain? Is like, oh, he lives there a lot of the time. And it's an expression of that. Because I make it into a pseudo or a reality, it lets me deal with that portion. And what it sounds like, as much as, you know, with the therapy that you're going through, you're doing something similar where you're making these thoughts into a reality out in the open, and then dealing with them that they're there. And that's so important when it comes to therapy and dealing with mental health, is because everyone thinks is like, I'll just deal with it in my head. Is like, that is the worst thing you can do. Because your head is a trap that gets cycles through. But if you let it out in the open and be like, you know, Doug says is I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z. I'm like, all right, well, let's parse through that. Are you dealing with it like this? And he's like, oh no, I'm not. And I'm like, yeah, there you go. And because once it's out in the open, it can be challenged. In your head, it cannot be challenged because you can make any roadblock you want, which is
one of the best things that happened to me was a couple days ago. I was doing laundry, and Josh called me, and he gave me, you know, he just gave me the, hey, what you doing, what's going on, and this and that. He's like, what you up to? And I'm like, oh, I'm doing laundry, I'm doing this and that. And then he goes, I gotta ask you a question. A lot of guys in the band are wondering what's up with you, like what's going on. And my conversation started out very like lack of information. I was just like, oh, you know, I'm kind of going through the usual stuff, like some depression, some of this, some of that. And he knows me well enough that he knows I'm giving him a bunch of bullshit. And then he's like, really, what's going on? And I was like, you know, I'm starting to drink more because I'm upset. Like, I'm upset with my life. I said, that's why when I go and I play the guitar, my hands shake, because I'm on a detox, because I didn't drink as much the day before. And he's like, yep, I've seen it. Like, you and I need to talk. Like, you and I need to have, like, let's work together. Let's have that conversation. And I've been working in the last 2 weeks to detox myself to the point where I don't want to drink alcohol anymore. Like, I don't want alcohol anymore. Like, it ruins my life. I've crashed 2 cars. I've done a bunch of stupid things. Like, I'm just trying to get rid of it.
Right.
But, you know, basically the way it comes down to is he's not a dummy. Like, he knows exactly what's going on, but he's asking me the questions. And it's the same way that we all worked, like we all talked together. It's like last night, him and I went to Cherry Street. He had whatever drinks he had. I had 0. Like, well, sorry to put that up. That's racist, right? I had 0 drinks. But
awesome, dude.
But like, we still had a good time. Like, we hung out, and I told him ahead of time. I was like, look, we're going to Cherry Street, but I don't want anything to drink. Like, I'm not bringing any money because I don't want to do something that I regret or whatever it would be. And everybody goes through these struggles, whatever it may be. And I think it's important to talk about it. And I think it's important to talk about it, especially amongst like close friends like you guys.
Oh, 100%. Talking about that, it's so important to be able to do that. And as much as now we've gotten to the deep weeds of this podcast, and it's great. But we've been all over the place.
I
But
think we're
being,
drowning.
no, yeah, we're all drowning right now. Let's talk. We're getting a
we'll
therapist.
Drowning in
We'll-
pizza.
We'll come back in a minute.
Yeah,
but
we'll get back to dick and fart jokes in a little bit.
yeah,
so.
but I do think it is really important, especially among friends, to have those moments. And I think the strength comes from this. As much as a friend should reach out sometimes and doing that stuff, it also comes from an inner ability to be like, I need to talk to a friend right now, just
Right.
to say, and have the strength and willingness within yourself to be like, I am not doing okay, and admitting that to yourself and others is perhaps the most important thing you can do. Even if you don't know, even if you don't know exactly what it is, if I can say, dude, I'm having a real bad anxiety week, I don't know why, and it's like, all right, let's work it through. What's going on? How is this happening? What are these things? I don't know. It's like, well, maybe just try X, Y, and Z, or other things like that. But just saying it, man. Like, and I think that's, and we have 4 dudes here, but I think that's also a plague within dudes, right? Which is like, no, you got to deal with your own shit. And I'm like, I think that's the biggest cowardly bullshit in the world, because I think the strength is saying it.
You look at the statistics, like in suicides, like males are the top at the list for suicide rates, and it's because
I'm thankful for your podcast, AJ, is that you, like, one of the things I liked about the roads we traveled is not the round table that we're having, but it was the fact that you
this is complete trash
with people.
This is a complete trash. Don't
delete this episode.
No.
It was the fact that you could ask people straightforward questions about how they feel about their life.
Right.
And that's a good podcast. That's what makes a good understanding of just human nature, no matter who the person is.
The one thing is, like, I think that people don't do enough is kind of like what Chris was saying. It's something like, honestly, that I started doing because I had 2 people. One was a coworker and then one was a friend who, like, in the past, like, 4 years, both killed themselves. And it was just, nobody knew anything was even wrong. And it's one of those things where that's why I do, anytime I am, like, I'll do like almost like not like a quarterly update, but almost like that. Almost every few months, I'll write something on Facebook about, like, how I'm dealing with depression or what's been going on with me lately. And I do that because of the fact that I feel that people need to be able to advocate for themselves and be able to say stuff and not be scared about the fact that, you might get judged, but the people who judge you are fucking lying to themselves if they think they've never gone through even a spurt of depression.
It took me a long time to admit the fact that I'm an alcoholic. Like, it took me a long time to admit that.
That's really hard to do, dude. Proud of you for it, though.
Proud of you, man.
Seriously, dude.
It takes time for all of that. And, like, everybody has been depressed at some point in their life. There's not a single person who's lived a fucking perfect life and has never had depression or has never gone through something that made them depressed. There's a difference between that and, like, something like myself, who has manic depression and clinical depression, like, versus somebody who's just, okay, like somebody died in their family and it causes them to have some depression for a little while. Like, that's different. But at the same time, you still should advocate for yourself and say, hey, look, I'm struggling with this right now. It's hard for me to go through certain things day to day, and I need to be able to say this out loud, because, like Chris said, your brain is a trap. Your brain will let you sit there and stay in it. Your brain will keep that in you because, frankly, it only benefits you to wall up at that point, because if you wall up, it's harder to get hurt.
Right. You think that nobody else cares about what you have to say,
right?
But in reality, like you guys in this group and other groups that we've had the roundtables for, and other friends that we have, like, everybody cares.
Mhm.
It's just that you think
That's
you're
what the
alone.
end of shows were, right? Right. So like we would have this thing of when we would finish shows. Yeah, we had a great time. We'd have a good set or whatever. But it would be like the three of us and Mike sitting at the bar, and we'd be chatting about life. Everyone would be watching the show, but we'd be chatting half the time about that. It's some of my favorite moments. As much as there's laughter, was us like at the Webster Underground at the bar on the side, or drinking there, or not just drinking, but having the conversation was always important, or going to those other things, because like, you would have this thing where it would just be the four of us saying, how you doing? How are things going? What are things doing? Because like, yeah, we would practice, but also I was.
It was more like this though. It was more like, how you doing?
Hey,
Good.
yeah, I'm good. Fucking whatever. Like fucking at the Webster. Oh, you're kidding me? It was just fucking loud as shit.
No, I'll contradict that, and that was when I spent time on AJ's couch, and AJ was a super helpful. Him and John Savage were two, and Josh too. Don't
worry, I'm easily forgettable. It's good. Keep it going.
I agree.
I never noticed you. You're only like 6'4", and
this is something that my therapist has been telling me lately. She's like, "You're too hard on yourself," and I'm like, "I am. I really am, and I need to stop doing."
Well,
that.
AJ, you're a piece of shit, so you should know that. No, sorry.
well, that was also, from Chris.
Yeah, no, but I will say like this part of it though is part of the therapy. It's being able to have friends at that table, as well as you're having these moments. And but half of the therapy between like say me and Josh when we go back is like, shut the fuck up, like just like like all that type of shit is like you're being like Josh is doing like having this like I'm having this depressed moment. I'm like, yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit, and let me tell you why. Okay, I'm going to tell you this right now, because we're brutally honest, and I'm like, I'm being careful and conscious and validating these feelings, but at the same time, let me tell you how that's complete bullshit for a minute. All right.
I mean, it's the understanding that you can talk like blatantly with each other, and you can have a conversation, and yet you still understand. Like, look, I'm here for you. Like, I might break your balls, but I'm still here for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the thing with dudes too is like we don't want to show that affectionate side, and it's hard, right? Because we're brought up that way. We're brought up, affection, boo, don't do
we
it.
always heard the term man up.
Right. So like,
which I think is bullshit anyways, but
I honestly think what
anyone
it does
else see
is,
that my wrist is like whiter than the rest of my face? Like, it's bothering me so much.
Wait,
oh my god, it's
funny.
almost translucent.
Hang on. Wait a
Really
minute.
funny.
Wait
The
a minute.
glare.
Uh-oh.
The glare.
Oh,
AJ.
no.
My eyes can't take it. Oh, it's the sun. It's the sun. Sorry.
All right. Anyway,
For
sorry.
the audio
Yeah,
listeners, I took off
Serious
my
time.
cap and I
Back to
turned up my
serious
ring
time.
light. So
That's hilarious. But no, like the whole thing with like, to me, the thing with the affection part is like, I feel like that's part of the reason too, though, that guys wall themselves up, is because like you can't lose that affection that you have from other people if you don't talk about it. They're still going to be like the same way they are towards you, which is good, and you want that, because to you that is the affection you crave. When realistically, like, knowing that somebody's been there or has your back is way better and a deeper part of affection that most guys don't even think about, because they don't want to have the, well, what if they respond in a bad way portion of it. They
Doug,
just
Josh,
want
and Mike are my brothers for life because of the shit that I went through.
Yeah, man.
That's it. Like we always talked about this. Like, even when I decided to move to California and all that stuff, just to get away from my own mental health stuff and family crap, it was always, the message was, dude, go, and we've got you back for life. And that was literally it. And knowing that empowered me to make a lot of positive changes in my life in general. Knowing that regardless of where I went, you have people, because you were able to say I'm not doing okay, led to a richer experience in my life.
I'm at that point in my life right now too, because I know we talked about it on your episode, Chris, but I'm already talking to family out in Texas right now that I have out there that keep telling me to come out and visit, which is my plan next year, hopefully. Just to see San Antonio, maybe visit Austin, and just see what life is like out there, because I feel like creatively out here, I can't do what I want to do because there really isn't a lot of opportunity for me out here. And I just feel it's just draining on my mental health, still doing the same work that I'm doing that's taking a toll on my body. and just being miserable from it all the time. You know, I'm just
Dude.
like, I'm not being challenged. I'm not getting my creativity out there. And that's when I get the most depressed, is when I'm not doing anything creatively.
And you know, recognizing that in yourself is actually a super important thing. You know, recognizing like I have this creative need, and that is also a driver of my mental health. Not to the point where if I don't do it, I'm terrible, but I need a part of it. It's part of my balance. Is super duper important. You know, music is a big important in my life, as well as D&D is a huge important in my life, that I realized creating. I found, you know, over quarantine, I know it sounds stupid, I've been posting on Facebook, I've gotten into 3D printing and painting miniatures, mostly because like it's such a zen relaxation thing for me that all of a sudden my brain just shuts off and goes, this man's arm is red. Thank you. Like, you know, that's just all this shit, because your brain just shuts off and you go, yes. And you're just like doing that. But it's so healthy to have those things. And I think it comes back to what Josh was saying, right? Is like, we have all these things, and also Doug, of like, you know, man up, there are specific things men do. Fuck that shit. You are an individual person who has their own individual fucking needs, and there shouldn't be a society stigma on what men need to do. I'm a sissy ass bitch, all right? I don't give a fuck.
I've got I like to paint, motherfucker.
Yeah, I like to paint my little miniatures and play Dungeons and Dragons, all right? So it's like, whatever the fuck, you know?
You pick what you want. My mom was down 2 weekends ago for my daughter's birthday, and I told her about my dating profile, and I was like, here's what my dating profile says. You know, it tells what I do for a living, and it says that I'm a semi-pro gamer, because I am, and I'm a semi-pro gamer. And she's like, maybe you should take that out. And I was like, why? And she goes, well, I mean, other people might not like it. And I was like, then fuck them.
There you go, right?
If they don't like the fact that I travel and compete in tournaments, like, I'm gonna have a tournament at my house in 2 weekends. Like,
fuck yeah.
Nice.
That's what I'm gonna do. So if you don't like that fact that I play competitive Soul Calibur, and that I have people who come to my house to play competitive Soul Calibur, that's on you. Like, I'm being upfront. I'm telling you, like, look, this is what I do.
Well, you've gotten more. You've gotten more hits on online dating than I have in the last 4 years. So,
I mean, have you seen Doug?
I got nothing.
Have you seen Doug? He's a hot piece of ass. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
I got nothing, AJ. Nothing.
No, but
I've given up on online dating, to be honest with you. It's not working out for me.
Me too, brother. Me too. It's so bad.
But to that
I
fact,
even went on Facebook and I was like, anyone want to date me? Because
Facebook is so much worse, dude. Like,
no, I literally put a post up that said, anyone want to date me? Because
I know you
all the
me.
dating apps suck. I didn't get a response.
No, the way you phrased it was, does anybody want to date me other than Josh and AJ? Like,
I'm here, buddy.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
here.
I did put that.
Hand up, buddy. I'm right here.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, bring it on.
All I get is this notification.
Tell me about the wedding,
and I read it, and I'm like, what the fuck?
What are we doing for the wedding? Hors d'oeuvres.
No, but like, and not to go in that opposite direction, but like, you know, when I moved out to California, it was very much that single life, and I was single all the way until I came back, really much, you know. And it was that time period of loneliness and figuring that out with myself, but also like the thing is to your point, Doug, you know, Kate doesn't play D&D, doesn't do these things, but she appreciates them and understands that's an integral part of me. Right. They don't have to be like, I'm so into this. It's like,
that's where
this is who
nice,
I am.
Because
you know,
when I was with Sarah told me she was into the music part of what I do, and then she would complain about everything that I did musically, and I started to realize, like, she doesn't give two shits about my interests. And that went on for 12 years.
Yeah.
To the point where it was like, you know, it fell apart.
Yeah. And you know, that's
the whole like relationship shit is so overblown to me. Like,
yeah, it is.
Like, I mean, like, look, one of the worst experiences of my life was because I rushed into a relationship after losing somebody I was with for 6 years and like living with and all this other stuff. And it was like I rushed into the next relationship, and the next relationship turned out to be somebody who was an abusive alcoholic. And I didn't care because I didn't want to be by myself.
Right.
And it was it was like I didn't want to be alone. So, hey, I'll date this person, and that person turned into somebody who really was terrible for me. I have scars, literal scars from like it's
And as one of your closest friends, I know exactly the relationship you're referring to.
Yeah.
and it's one of those things. I lost so many friends because of that person, and it is what it is. It's part of my life now, and I have to deal with it. But it's something I learned, whereas I had to learn how to be. After that, I had to learn how to be okay with myself. I had to learn to be okay by myself.
And you're
I had
better
to
for it, though.
Yes,
you know,
exactly. I had
Like-
to learn that it's lonely, and there's times where you come home and like you're just sitting in your room and you're playing video games by yourself because it's something to take your mind off of stuff. But there is a darker side to go down with somebody
yeah.
as well. And if you can't just be okay with you, then you don't even have the strength. Like I didn't even have the strength to leave this person. They ended up leaving me.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad it was. Like I was still so not confident in myself and so alone in my own head that I still couldn't, even though this person was treating me the way they were and acting the way they were towards me, I still, and my friends, they, again, like Chris, she shattered a glass at Chris's house.
Yep.
Like that person was that bad to me and the people I cared about, but I stayed.
Where AJ, like, I appreciate the fact that you really want to have these conversations with people and bring up like any kind of information and personal information, and everybody's comfortable talking on your podcast about just where they come from and what's going on.
He's
Like
a sexy man. What can I say? He has a way, the way he looks at you.
All right, Chris. All right. Yeah, you got to the point. I was trying to beat around the bush, but
You know, it's listen, you two are single. That's what I'm saying. No.
Yeah, I mean, like it does get lonely at times. You know what I mean? Like I was talking to somebody for a little while not too long ago, but it didn't work out. They ended up going back to their ex, and that's fine. You know, whatever. But yeah, there are nights where it does get kind of lonely being by yourself and stuff like that. You know, sometimes you're on Amazon, looking for things that you shouldn't be buying, to take away from the loneliness.
I was going to say, can you buy vagina on Amazon?
Yeah, you definitely can.
Marcus cabinets or something.
Yeah, get yourself a fleshlight. It'll be fine. But with that in mind, the thing is what this time and what I learned when I went to California being alone, that the reason it was formative was like, I learned how to be myself and the best version of myself, which, to be fair, led to arguably and still is the best relationship I've ever had. And it better be, right? But at the same time, it better be.
I mean, you got
that kind of sounded like
you got a few months to figure that out.
Yeah, no, I've already paid. No, the deposit's there, dude. The time to get back out is gone. But realistically, it's gone. I put the money down.
I'm still available, Chris. It's not too late.
If you change your mind, we'll just have a show. We'll just play a big giant concert.
Big giant show. Yeah. But like,
I just like chicken wings.
Yeah, the way
all this guy love right now has got me.
I'm touching myself tonight.
Me too. Yes. But seriously, it led to a better version of myself.
For sure. But that's what we need, man. Like,
this is what we need. It's the best version of our fucking selves, and we ended up so much happier. It was funny when I saw Josh when I came back to California. I remember something Josh said is like, you just seem much more, I guess. I think it was like complete is what you said. You just seem so much more like
you've matured in a way that you couldn't possibly have pretty much done here. Like,
and it was
I remember you hating
around
California. That's what I remember. I remember you were like, I love it here, and then like a month later, you're like, fuck this place.
No, I hated San Francisco specifically.
Oh yeah, it's so expensive, dude.
It's not even expensive. I'm sorry if you live in San Francisco. Fuck that place because they're just like. We live in a great city and it's so progressive. I'm like, your subway sucks, your roads are terrible, and everything about it is over expensive for no fucking reason.
And tons of homeless people everywhere. Yes.
And also, you have homeless people who shit in the streets. I've seen it. All right,
the shit.
And
I've seen it. I've seen them do it on the block I'm walking on.
Literally.
Yeah, like, and and it's one of these things, and then they're like, oh, but we have Google, and I'm like, well, fuck them too. Like, fuck it, I don't give a fuck. What is that supposed to tell me? They ain't paying me. Fuck them. All right, and this is actually, by the way, AJ, this is Josh Dick's favorite part. They get me on a fucking rant, and I'll go for 30 minutes, and they're just dying the whole time because I'm doing that. It was the best part of band practice. Like, fuck that shit, and fuck this, and fuck these people. They're fucking stupid.
It's real. It's like actual facts. It's not.
It's so
Because I wouldn't just be irrational. I can't remember the one, but it was something. I don't remember what band it was. Some band that was a douche back in the day. I don't remember them, but I was just I was just going on a show.
Funny.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get up with your singer who can't fucking sing, and then you're gonna get up there and slap that bass and tell me it's a line, and your drummer has 2 broken sticks and doesn't know what the end of a cymbal looks like. And yeah, you're worth the time of me paying the show for. Like, I was going off. I think Doug nearly peed himself as I was like yelling about this shit. Like,
AJ, I want to apologize right now for the amount of editing you're gonna have to do on this entire podcast.
It's not much. Let me tell you.
He's just gonna leave it all in because we're a bunch of psychos.
The video is a little bit long process, but the audio, it's just like, I'll let you in on a little secret. I just extract the audio from the video and I just dump it into
There it is.
There it is.
that is a true editor, my friend. Everyone's like, you did great work. He's like, no, I did lazy work that looks good. That's the important part.
He's got that shit on lockdown.
As a lifetime editor / now creative director, I can tell you that's how you do it. That is how it's done.
Get it done.
That is the secrets of
It's a little thing on my computer called MP3 converter. Like,
how dare you tell them our ancient secrets, AJ? They were passed down via the tablets when you bought Adobe Premiere.
oh my god. Oh, my cheeks hurt from laughing so hard.
That's every time, man. Every time we join you on a podcast or play games with you or whatever, we always fucking have a good time.
I feel like fucking Sam Lloyd. Rest in peace, Sam Lloyd. I had Scrubs on the other day at my part-time job in the background, and like every time he was like, oh my god, you're back, and he's like, why aren't you smiling? It hurts when I smile. And then he smiles. He's like, oh.
Scrubs is an amazing show. I love that show.
Scrubs
As an aside, besides the D&D game with all of you guys, I'm just saying in this podcast, and I'm doing planning beforehand, all of us need to play more games together because that needs to happen, because I want to do that.
Yeah.
Unless you play Soul Calibur, you guys can all
Fuck you. I don't want to play a game where you just beat the shit out of me. Fuck you.
What's wrong with that? Sounds like a good game to me.
Doug was hitting me up last night at like 10:30. He's like, want to play some Mario Kart? I'm like, dude, I'm glued to my recliner watching anime right now.
Don't forget what I wrote after that. I said, want to play some Mario Kart, you bitch.
Well, it's so funny. Like AJ every time is like, Josh, you want to come and just like play some games and just beat me? I'm like, what, dude? I don't always beat you. You're like, yes, you do. Like, well, literally.
Fighting games, yes, you do. Like,
it's when Josh,
fighting
the
games.
only time, the one time he no longer asked me to ever play Madden or anything with him because I go, fuck you. No, absolutely not.
That's what I would
absolutely
do.
Absolutely not. No. Like, literally, he asked me, he's like, I'll come play any game you want, except that. Fuck you. Like,
go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. Because I'm going to be like, I run the running back, and they'll just like, what up, bitch? And just
no,
like,
we all got to play. We all got to play Mario Kart together.
And record that. We'll put it on your stream, AJ. We'll be on your stream doing that shit.
That'll be a very exciting time.
I just remember the last time Doug and I played Mario Kart, I'm swearing up a storm, and he's just like, language, like in the background, like Captain America over here. The language, AJ, Jesus! Like,
one of my all-time favorites.
Here, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Like,
what was the thing? Me, AJ, Josh, and my friend Zach when we were playing Star Wars Squadrons, right? And it was just like us playing that, and we were doing really good together. And AJ would be like, "What do I do?" And it was just the three of us who were already veterans, and AJ just came in and was like, well, "Do whatever you want, bitch. Fuck you!" Like we were just like we were railing AJ the whole time, just like whatever, bitch. Just like coming in.
Do whatever you want, bitch.
Yeah. I don't know. Fly a TIE fighter, bitch. Just shoot the man. He's like, I'm trying. He's like, doesn't seem like you're trying hard enough, AJ.
I was half in the bag for that one.
Dude, I played Squadrons on the Oculus, and I almost vomited in my entire.
Yeah, I can't imagine. It's hard to play on the fucking like
Yeah.
PC, let alone
Although,
anything else.
I had Josh dying because I love these. I love TIE fighters. I love the sound that they make. So I had Josh dying. You remember I was making
What sound do they
sound.
make?
The sound. So I was just we would start off and I would just be in the microphone going, ah, and he'd just be sitting there like, what the fuck are you doing? And be like, ah! Just like- By the way,
Screaming
I
into
was
his
like
microphone.
4 or 5 beers deep, going. Just
Every time he took off from the fucking plane. So it was every time they dropped him out of the drop ship,
Yeah.
he comes with his fucking TIE bomber and he's just like, eh. It's like, what did you do?
You would just hear me like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Don't judge me. I love this.
This is what I love.
Guys are a bunch of
Don't
fucking
judge me for the
nerds.
things I love."
If y'all ain't watching us on stream, y'all are missing out, man.
Yeah, we gotta do more group stream games, my
Yeah, we
dude.
do.
I would love to do that. Although
The only problem is you do so many of them on the weekend. It's hard because that's usually when I work. But
Well, I'm working during the week, so
I know.
I'm not
I
around.
literally just
Maybe you should
switched
take some
jobs.
days
So
off.
I will
not switched
say,
jobs. I just got a second job. So
You
we're
gotta
gonna
get
change
into
that. Get my
some of that-
hours a little different.
we gotta get into some of that board game shit where shit gets real competitive because I know it'll be the
I got
forest. It'll be
tabletop
like,
simulator.
yeah, we'll play a board game and it'll be like all laughter and someone makes, yo, fuck
Where
you,
is,
bitch, don't fucking
flip
do
the
that, you
table.
absolute
Oh,
flip
man.
the table. Like,
Fucking Monopoly. The four of us playing Monopoly would be hell on wheels. Somebody might
Josh
get
the whole
shot.
time- Josh the whole time is like, this is a game made by white people. Fuck off. This is a game made by white people. Like, Forrest is like,
Yeah, I
this.
want Baltic. Yeah. Give me the project. Fucking assholes.
Josh just sitting there with, of course you want boardwalk whitey. I'm taking Baltic. Like, just like that's what.
Fucking overpriced condos.
Oh my god. Oh my god. How long have we been recording now?
Oh, it's an hour probably.
An hour and a half.
Yeah, you got plenty of content.
You got plenty of, we can go all day, dude. I'm here. I'm
You
Dance
got
all
like,
day.
you got like
Oh my
2
God.
episodes now.
Well, we're talking about gaming right now. What's everyone playing?
Oh,
I'll start. I'm playing Soul Calibur again. I was out of it for a while.
what?
Let me rephrase that question. What is everyone besides Doug playing right now?
We know what Doug's playing.
We don't know what Doug's playing. Love you, buddy.
Doug plays Soul Calibur.
All right, so I'm just eating pizza.
I love you, buddy. Well, what else are you playing, Doug? As he leaves, this plumber crack showing.
Oh,
my
God.
I'm gonna.
Oh, God. AJ, what are you playing?
I'm in tears right now. Oh my god. I
Oh,
just
fuck.
started playing the Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I gotta hopefully.
Dude, the minute I
finish
heard
that
that
this
announcement,
weekend.
I'm like, AJ's playing that shit.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
100% on it. Like,
I didn't buy it. I'm trying my hardest to not buy it because I know eventually it's gonna be on Game Pass. So I'm trying everything in my power to not spend the money on it.
but
Doug
it's
coming back with fingers in the air.
yeah, just,
I'm playing Soul Calibur.
I fucking
you just hear it in the background as we're on the podcast. He's just playing Soul Calibur.
Actually, it's up on my other laptop.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Yeah. I'm actually not. I wasn't joking. I'm not surprised.
I'm not either.
I'm not. Yeah, fucking. Yeah, that whole series is like probably my favorite game series.
Mass Effect or
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like really hard for me to not buy it, but I'm like, it's gonna be on Game Pass. All of the other ones are on Game Pass. Eventually, this one's going to Game Pass.
I just like it for the fact that all the DLC is included in this package. So I was like,
Yeah.
thank God. Like I don't have to look for anything. You know,
You
this and
just
the
like
other.
big packages.
Don't we all?
I mean, I didn't say I didn't.
Oh my.
The other thing is the graphics definitely were upgraded a little bit for
Yeah, it
Mass
looks
Effect
good.
1. They
definitely
really
looks good.
overhauled
They fixed
Mass
the
Effect
Mako
1.
in Mass Effect 1 from
It's
what I
still
heard.
a little janky.
Still
Still a little bit, but they added boosters to it, like so you can literally take off for like 3 seconds down a strip, just like hold the button. You're like, Like,
Is it still like a vehicle made of paper? I have to know. Is it made of paper where it like flops over on its side
yeah.
like weirdly?
oh yeah,
Oh
it
god.
still flops
love
over.
it.
Like,
Oh great.
Love it.
so now you
Oh,
got
man.
boosters under the thing, and then you got rocket boosters in the back. To like, that's all I do when I'm on those planets is like, I'll just like launch up something and like hit both of them, and I'm like flying sideways and shit. Like, I'm like, yeah, let's just get through Mass Effect 1 because it's not the best out of the franchise. The story's great, but the jankiness is still a little bit there. Like I had my brother in Discord watching me play it when I launched it on the first night it came out.
Soul Calibur
Motherfucker.
at the hitbox.
So my brother's like watching and like chatting through stream with me, and he's just like, oh, this looks so good, but like some of the mechanics would come up where there's still a little bit of jank or whatever, and like all he would do is just crack jokes the whole time, and I'm like, I fucking hate you right now. Like,
One of my favorite things in Mass Effect 1.
We're all trying to get through Mass Effect 1 right now. Just relax, okay?
When I replayed Mass Effect 1, one of my favorite things in Mass Effect 1 is the cover mechanic in Mass Effect 1 because there will be walls that he's doing that he's fully like shoulders above the wall that he's taking cover for, and I'm like, Shepard? Shepard? He's getting hit. It's still, they didn't fix it. He's not behind cover. He's like, I'm standing up straight behind this little wall. And it's just like, all right, thanks, Shepard.
I can't tell you how many times I've gone to reload my gun forgetting that there's a cooldown and not a reload. So I would hit the X button and immediately throw a grenade. I'm like, fuck. Like, I've done it like 5 times already. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like,
I love when games like that have just slightly different controls and it fucks your whole life up.
Yep.
Like going from like playing like Warzone and then trying to play like a PUBG. It's like they're so like the controls are just off. Like the grenade button is just the wrong button, and it's like you just end up fucking nuking yourself like 4 or 5 times in a row.
Yep.
You're like, how did I do that? Oh wait, I should have hit B.
yeah.
Like, why didn't I just hit B like a
it's
normal
usually reload is the X button for me.
Right.
You know, and it's like that in the other games.
Exactly.
But this is the one game where it's like, okay,
I
instead
love
of a
when games
reload,
do
it's a cooldown. It's,
We
you don't have to worry about
better
reload.
control scheme, I swear.
This is better than all the other games that have done it. Of course.
So my brother's like sitting there, and like all of a sudden I'm like, I throw a grenade, and I'm like, fuck, and like he's got a little bit of a delay, so he's like, what? And I'm like, I threw a grenade because I thought I had to reload. He's just laughing the whole time.
Any of you guys play any VR shooters?
No.
I love them.
I've been meaning to get a VR headset. and
Yeah,
try to
I
do
got the
that, so-
Oculus Quest 2, and I play a ton of VR like first shooters. It's so much fun.
I want to do that. I want to get that so bad. I've just been playing. Let's see. I've been playing a lot of. I've been playing Escape from Tarkov, which is a lot of fun.
I heard
it's
that
like
was very fun.
it's fun, but like the most realistic shooter there is. Period. It's like to the point where there's no ammo counter. You have to press a button for you got to take out the mag, and it says about half of your magazine is remaining. That's what it says.
Since I have a 6-year-old, I've been playing a lot of Gotcha Life.
Nice, nice.
A lot of Roblox.
And then just Total War, which I always do as a background game because that's just what I play for. Because I like to play chess in my free time, and I'm weird. That's just what I do.
No, my daughter and I play chess.
Yeah, dude. Chess.com. You can play it across phones.
No, I have a glass chessboard on my dining room table. Her and I make moves, and we have a silver coin where we move it back and forth whose turn it is. And we play. Awesome. Her and I play all the time. Like she'll make a move, and then she'll put the coin on my side, and I'll make a move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Total War, the game is the game for me that Josh, if I ever say, yeah, you want to play this, he'll go, fuck you. No. Yeah. Fuck you.
I'm all set.
No. Yeah. You in Total War. Are just...
I'm just sitting there and I'm just like blanketly staring, and everyone's like, what the fuck are you doing? I was like, don't ask questions.
There's weird. Like 70,000 people on the screen, and you're just like, yep. I'm like, no, I can't manage this.
Yeah, it's like the worst part is it's like a fucking like hour-long game to set up that Chris just beats you in 15 minutes after that hour is over. So like as soon as he establishes what he needs, as soon as he's got what he needs, you're dead, and that's all that matters, and that's it, the end of the game. And like it's
like it's rage. Yeah.
It's like, okay, I spent all of this time doing this, and now what? Oh, it's over. Oh, cool. All my guys are dead. Cool. All right. This was fun. I had a great time.
Anybody play the new Resident Evil yet?
No, but I really want to. I just don't have any money.
I've watched a ton of people play it. I never got into Resident
looks
Evil,
awesome.
the
I'm not
Resident
into it
Evil
either.
games. I like watching them.
good.
I think
just love
watching
all
them
the
is fun as shit.
thirsty nerds online for Lady. What's her name? The
Yeah.
Dimitrescu or whatever
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
called.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love
just
seeing
like,
all the
game looks
artwork
awesome.
and all the jokes and everything and all the memes. I
Yeah.
just laugh so hard. I'm like, damn, there's a lot of thirsty nerds for this.
I bought the last game I bought was for Oculus Quest 2, and it was Demio, which is like a tabletop D&D game.
Mhm.
And I haven't gotten the chance to play it yet though, because my kid keeps playing my Oculus. Every time she comes over, she's like, I want to play on the VR, and I'm like, okay.
We
Go
all
for
need to
it.
get Baldur's Gate 3, which is a co-op, basically tabletop.
I bought
Or
it.
do it, or
I bought it. It's in my Steam library, and I just
Yeah.
never downloaded it. It's just sitting
So,
in my library.
It's in early access right now, so they have the first chapter up in this whole thing. It's made by the people who made Divinity, and you can have up to 4 people be the adventuring party in this. So you could
Yeah.
actually stream the hell out of this and be super fun and stupid.
yeah, it
And
looks
also,
like
friendly
fun.
fire exists, so you can cast a spell and blow up your friends.
Hey.
Well, now we know what Doug's gonna do the whole time.
Yep. Look out, Chris.
And you're just gonna hear, "What if I just no, Doug, no?"
Gonna yell
Have a
Harry
rocket
Potter
launcher.
references and
I'm
shoot
all
you.
for it.
Exactly.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
yeah. All I've been playing honestly is like a lot of Smite, a lot of
I've been seeing that. Yeah.
yeah. Because when I hurt my wrist, I couldn't really hold a controller very well. And Smite is an easy game where all I really have to do is move the joystick.
I
don't have
haven't
to do much.
been playing much. Like I literally yesterday was the first time I played Soul Calibur in like 2 weeks.
That's big
And
for
but
you.
I came into it like I talked a bunch of shit. I was like, "Yo, motherfuckers, I'm gonna beat your ass." So that way, I got a bunch of challenges.
There you go.
But yeah, I haven't been playing video games pretty much at all.
Right.
Ever since I got more into D&D, I play less and less because it's just become such a thing for me. So that's
Oh, we
literally-
got to do a D&D podcast.
I will do it. I will 100% run it, and I will have it going, and I will give you we'll get Mike involved, and we'll play it, and it's in the world that I just said, and it's
Hell yeah.
actually done. So Yeah, we'll do it.
I'm already thinking of character names for myself and like how I'm gonna talk.
oh yeah, you gotta play into the gang lifestyle, which is gonna be funny. You just gotta be like, yo, hey, like just like literally just playing in that.
Wait,
New York
hold on.
accent.
They're
Yeah.
all Italians? Is that what
Not everybody.
We're like, oh,
Not
hey,
everybody,
hey,
yeah.
hey, oh,
Hey, there's a
oh,
lot.
hey,
There's an
paisano.
entire mafia
Hey,
side of it, like
buddy.
Godfather group. Yeah.
Bobbity boopity.
Babidi boopy. Like, yeah, exactly. No, there's a bunch. I've got like
I
there's
apologize
like
to my Italian listeners out there.
There's a classic like Irish
No
gang. There's like
apologies.
Yakuza. There's a whole bunch of other stuff.
Nice.
So like, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with it and be ridiculous. I'd love to do that as a podcast.
So
Absolutely.
let me ask you one question, Chris. I don't know how long AJ wants us to go on, but I mean, we can go
We
on.
gotta
forever.
wrap up soon, but
Okay, that's fine.
Fuck you. All right. So, how is that world map that you were creating? Remember the world map that you had years ago?
Yes, actually, this world is a continent that takes place in the improved world map. It is still the same.
You still have the picture, like the framed?
Mhm. I still have it, and
That's so awesome.
I have all of it, and I basically like built it up more and more. And so this has been a labor of love that I've worked on since I was 18 years old, pretty much.
Yeah, since
So,
I've known you, which was
yeah,
probably
so-
then.
And now we're basically the idea in the future, and is to publish third-party books for D&D based around this stuff. So
Nice. So
that's the business that I have started. So
very cool.
yeah, so it's fun, and I like to do it because I'm insane. It's fine.
As long as I get my cut.
As long as you get your cut. All right. I'll send you a sandwich via FedEx. All right.
Bitch better have my money.
Where's my money?
My
Where's the money?
3% of ideas that I've given you.
Yeah, you better give him
You
his
better give me
$1.
that goddamn money.
Well, you know what? I hate to even give you more of a percentage. It's 3% of ideas. You're giving me 2% of Chris. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. What the fuck?
You better
is
give
this
him his
shit?
bucko 5.
So that's a total of 5%. There we go.
He's gonna show up. He's
Done.
gonna show up to your wedding with powder in his hand. He's just gonna smack you right across the face.
Where's my money?
Where's my money, bitch? Where's my money?
That's my money. You owe me like $2.95. Where is that shit?
Hell yeah.
Anyway, we got to wrap this up. You guys got
No,
anything?
fuck
Fuck you, AJ.
This is
It's our podcast now. Ain't the roads we travel, it's the roads we just stand on and shout at AJ.
This is the road we fucking hold hands across so nobody can get through. The fucking traffic is all stuck and shit. We're staying here until we're done, motherfucker.
We're staying here till they tear gas us, motherfucker. We ain't moving.
If you want to come through, you're gonna have to come through us, bitch.
Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Is that a semi truck? That's a semi truck. We're gonna. Oh boy.
I love you, AJ.
Yeah, I love you guys too. You guys got anything you want to plug?
No. I had too much fun. You know who I am. I'm Doug and
Stay tuned for the future D&D podcast. Apparently, that's it.
Just see me on the next AJ podcast where I ruined the whole thing again.
Well, you can follow Doug at twitch.tv/clumduddle. Make sure to put the L in there after the C, or else you're gonna find something else.
Thank you, man. Good point.
Josh, what about you, man?
I don't have much, man. We got the single tipping point that's at fearthemasses.bandcamp.com.
Have you guys set up a release date yet? Since things are opening up again?
No, not yet. We still gotta fucking figure out honestly what is going to be open and what their capacity limits are gonna be. Who's only doing exterior shows versus interior. Nothing's like set in stone yet. I feel like a lot of things are so trial by like fire basis right now. Like yesterday, Cherry Sheet was popping, it was dope.
Yeah,
but then like this show at the Cellar was completely sold out. They ended up having to like not have people come in. They had to hit capacity at a certain number, which I don't even know what it is. It's all state determined. So it is what it is. So we're just trying to figure it, kind of play it by ear, but also at the same time, it's something that you got to kind of look at, like, because everything's booking up. We already have a show in September booked. So it's like people are booking out way out in advance.
See
right now.
what goes on and try to like do the best we can navigating this landscape.
This newly opened world.
No.
But yeah, so we got the singles out. The rest of the album hopefully will be out this year. That's the goal, but realistically, who the fuck knows? And then we got all of the socials. Fear the Masses is pretty much where you can find us on everything. Just search us. It's got a fucking peace sign holding a fucking hand grenade, and that's us. And for me, it's just FTM Josh on Twitch. Yeah, that's it, man.
What about you, Chris?
For right now, as we're just starting to come out with more D&D streams and start scheduling them now, you can follow me at Twitter on @jump_drive. And then it'll be Jump Drive Inc. on Twitch for when we're going to start streams and podcasts and all that stuff. That's pretty much where you can find me, most of the stuff. Any updates on D&D stuff or games that we'll be playing will be there, more or less.
How about you, AJ? Where can we find you?
Yeah, give me those plugs, AJ.
Yeah,
Tell me, what do you have going on right now?
Plug it like an emo kid's ears.
I didn't
You
expect
guys got
that.
5 minutes to listen to all of it, because here we go. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you are watching on YouTube, hello, how are you? Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to get notified every time we drop a new video. If you are listening on audio, we are available on all major podcast networks, Spotify, Apple, Google, pretty much everywhere. If you could leave a 5-star rating on Apple or Google, I would appreciate it. I will even read your review on the show. You can follow us at Facebook, facebook.com/Roads We've Traveled Podcast, on Instagram and Twitter at RWT Pod. Join the Roads We've Traveled Road Trippers group on Facebook. It is a group page designed for fans of the show that can, like we do here, open up about our mental health, vent, or just talk with other fans and stuff. We don't post any political bullshit. We don't post any negativity or anything like that. Right now I'm doing something that my therapist has been telling me to do, and that's 21 days of 3 things that I am grateful for. And I can't repeat the same thing, which is I'm finding very hard for day 6 right now. Like, okay, what am I going to do for 3 things today? But I've been posting 3 different things in the group, and people have been commenting about 3 things that they're grateful for. So definitely join the group page if you would, like some positivity in your life. You can email the show at roadswe'vetravelpodcast@gmail.com. Get me your questions, your comments, your stories. I'd love to read it on the show. We got merch available on TeePublic. Be sure to pick some up. You can follow us on Patreon if you want to directly support the show at patreon.com/roadswe'vetraveled. And you can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/JRBuckleGaming. Like I've said before, I'm playing through the Mass Effect Legendary Edition at the moment, and I also game with friends on the weekend too. I stream every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. And you can check out my portfolio at www.alanmpelletierjr.com.
Hey, quick question for you.
What's up?
You want a game tonight?
Sure.
Are you spent?
No, I'm planning on gaming tonight.
All right, I'll
Oh,
go. Oh, really?
oh my.
Oh my.
Maybe we could do some Mario Kart for a little while, because I definitely
Whatever.
want to get back into
Yeah,
Mass
I'll-
Effect too. So
I want you
This
to get through your
kid.
plugs, but if you want to play, I'll be around.
He
Definitely.
said
I
he's
gotta
gonna
eat
read.
first, though.
He'll read the reviews on the podcast.
yeah,
I can't wait to make a bunch of dummy accounts and just write overly sexual, like, I love this sexy bald man.
Just make them.
Don't listen to him.
Yes.
Just so he reads about on the podcast. He's just sits
Just
there and reads them all.
write fan fiction about AJ in the comments. That's what you're doing.
Each
Chapter
review
one.
is
So all I wanted to do
chapter.
was play Mario Kart, and then this happened.
Ask me about my wiener.
End the podcast.
and that's gonna do it.
And thank you,
everybody.
AJ. What
Thank you,
it's
guys.
been a lot of fun.
It was
Thanks
awesome.
for coming back. I appreciate you all. Love you guys.